Court is in session and calls number 332376. The case is styled the State of Texas versus Lee Chambers. Mr. Chambers, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chambers, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Chambers, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chambers, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Chambers?
No, I'm fine.
That's good. Mr. Chambers, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Giles Cole. Mr. Cole, do you waive a record in Mr. Chambers' case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Chambers, I
Yes,
have
sir.
before me a document that is titled Information that was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This information alleges that on or about April 30th of 2022, that while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of assault family violence. Mr. Chambers, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Chambers, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you
Yes.
pleading guilty? Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chambers, I have before me a document on this tablet that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. On page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials LC that are on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this line?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this same document, there's a signature at the top above the line that is titled Defendant. Mr. Chambers, did you also sign this document?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chambers, I also have another document here. This document is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Mr. Chambers, at the bottom of this document, above the line that is titled Defendant, there is also a signature. Did you also sign this document?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this same document, Mr. Chambers, there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you are giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chambers, did you sign a document out there on paper that is titled, that is a document out there on paper that is titled Discovery Certification?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Chambers, prior to signing and initialing all of these documents that I have just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Cole, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chambers, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chambers, well, state, you like to offer, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any
No
objections?
objection.
No objections. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Cole, you've advised and counseled Mr. Chambers. Is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand
No, Your
trial?
Honor.
Mr. Chambers, your attorney, Mr. Cole, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided fully effective and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Chambers, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers was freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
It's 50 days.
Mr. Chambers, the state is offering that you serve 50 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You will be given credit for any time that you are entitled to get by law. The court cost in your case, Mr. Chambers, is $327. Mr. Chambers, will you be able to pay the $327 court cost?
No, sir.
What did you say?
No,
No.
sir.
Okay, Mr. Chambers, I have before me a document that is titled Affidavit of Indigence. And this document has your name on it, Leas Chambers. And this document was signed by, well, this document has a column that says monthly income and assets and monthly expenses in the other column. And they also have a notation of the amount of money that you were making from a car wash bi-weekly. And Judge Ron Posh stated that you met the eligibility requirements, for the appointment of attorney. In essence, he found that you were indigent and because of insufficient funds with his notation. Now, the information here regarding your income, is it still the same today?
No, sir.
Okay, is it more or is it less?
I got fired.
Okay, so you have no income, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you have no expenses?
No, sir.
Okay.
I live with my aunt.
Okay, so Mr. Chambers, this court is gonna also find that you're still currently indigent. And what that means is you will not be required to pay the court cost of $327 because the court will be waiving the court costs pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. So, Mr. Chambers, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand the waiver of court costs that has been entered? Now, Mr. Chambers, do you think that the state's offering the waiver is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Chambers, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Chambers, this will conclude your case. Please follow the bailiff and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Cole, this will conclude your cases that you have for the day. You're free to go. Make sure you turn in the paperwork and you have a blessed day as well.
Well, Your Honor, it is a thin line